Hi, I'm Dan Kubisky, co-chair of the international community at the Society of Professional Journalists. Haiti's been in the news lately, and it's not been good. Gang-related violence has displaced more than 100,000 Haitians. The gangs have taken control of Haiti's main fuel terminal, leaving the country without basic services such as power and water. In addition, there's been another cholera outbreak in the country, pushing Haiti's already stressed medical system to the breaking point. And now we have word just this week that a journalist was killed while he and other journalists were marching on a police station demanding the release of a colleague who was arrested while covering one of the many demonstrations demanding the government get control of the situation. At the same time, the Association of Haitian Journalists has accused the police of beating other journalists and taking their equipment. We're very fortunate. With me now is Luc Bonhomme, who's with the Haitian Journalists Living Abroad, to talk about the situation. So, Luc, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but first, do you have family in Haiti? And if so, how are they?
Thank you so much for this opportunity and for the introduction and for the concern that you have about the situation of Haiti and of the Haitian journalists who are really facing a very difficult situation at this time. So thank you so much for asking me about my family. I don't really have a close relative in Haiti at this time, but I do have friends that I grew up with. Some of them are still in Haiti, and I talk to them sometime, and just to kind of like to update me on the situation in Haiti. So even though I don't have close relative members, but I do have friends, and then also I empathize with the Haitian population, globally in general. So it's kind of like my heart goes out to the
Mm-hmm.
victims, and also I empathize with the suffering. The level of suffering is immense right now in Haiti.
Well, I noted that a journalist was killed, and that was earlier this week. And I don't know if there's been an update on that situation. And he was killed while protesting the arrest of a colleague. We have, as I mentioned,
Mhm.
accusations that the police are beating journalists. What can you tell us about the situation in Haiti for journalists right now trying to cover this very terrible situation in your home country?
Yeah, and we have to remind our viewers that today is the day, the International Day to end impunity for crime against journalists all around the world. And in that particular situation, Haiti has had, so many situations where journalists were either beaten or killed. You just mentioned Robes Dimanche. It was the last one, the last journalist who died in the hand of police. Just like you said, he was actually covering the either the detention or the release of a journalist who was actually in the police hand. So the journalist who died is Melson Vilsa, and the one who was detained is Robes Dimanche. So apart from him, there was another journalist that also died. They find his body, they dump his body in a city called Lekai. His name is, let me see if I can find his name, um, is Gary Tess. Gary Tess was the one uh, that they find his body on the streets uh, without life. So it's just like they kill him. And he was a very very prominent journalist in Okai, La Ville de Kai, and it's in the south of Haiti. It's a major city, and yeah, it's been very very difficult for journalists. And there's also Robertson Alphonse. He works for Le Nouveliste, which is daily newspaper, the most important daily newspaper in Haiti, and functioning one at this point. And he was attacked and he almost died. He almost died. He received a multiple shot, and then luckily for him, they took him to the hospital, and he's actually still in the hospital, uh, receiving medical attention. So I think he had like 2 surgeries, but he's doing better now. So the situation is really complicated. It's like we are at war, like these people are at war, against journalists in Haiti at this point.
Wow. Um, and a simple thing, we face this sometimes in the US with storms where it takes out the power, so people can't broadcast, they can't print the newspapers. How's the situation with the news organizations? Do you have a sense? Are they able to broadcast radio, television? Are they able to print newspapers? Or is a lot just kind of hanging on with the internet and
Yeah,
people
they're just hanging
checking
on
their
at this
phones?
point because even for the Nouvelliste, which is the most important uh, daily newspaper in Haiti, I think they stopped printing because they don't have the means, and also because of what happened to Robertson Alphonse, and the situation is really complicated in terms of the electricity. I have friends in Haiti; they don't really have electricity, like for the most part. It's like maybe they give them a couple hours, but after that, they are in the dark. So it's very, very complicated. But journalists are still doing the work in Haiti, and I know I've spoken to some of them. They're still working, but they are very, very, I would say, they live in fear that something might happen anytime. Not only that the gangs are attacking, or just like hitmen are attacking journalists,
Mhm.
because in the case of Robertson Alphonse, it was probably hitmen who did this job, like professional killers, who did this job, hitmen. But also you have the police sometimes. In the case of Romelson Vilsaint, he was shot by the police. So it's very, very complicated and difficult for journalists to work freely to kind of like cover the events and everything. So it's very complicated at this time.
Does it appear that journalists are being targeted, or are some of them just being caught up in the violence surrounding demonstrations? Like I said, basically, are the journalists being targeted?
I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Haitian press and the impunity and the attack against journalists. We have a long list of journalists who either had died, who some of them had to leave the country. Even me, at some point, I had to leave because when I was working in Haiti in the 2000s, my mom would always call me on the phone and said, I'm worried about you. I had bad dreams. And so it's like, it's very, very, to do this job in Haiti, you have to be either crazy or you really love what you're doing, because there's no protection, real protection from this justice system or the police. So now the justice system is not functioning at all. It's not functioning at all. Even though you still have the institution, but they are not able to give justice to the people. And in some situation, you can't even go to the building to talk to a judge. You can't even go because you don't have access to the facilities. And in one case, one of the major institution, like justice institution in Haiti, the gang actually took it. They took it from the justice people. They had to run for their life, and the police could not even go back and retake possession of the facilities. So to tell you, just to show you this example, is to show you how bad is the situation. And if you think about being a journalist, all you have is just your materials to cover events. You don't have guns. You don't have anything to protect you, and you shouldn't have guns because you're a journalist. So you kind of like pretty much vulnerable to any attacks, and you don't have the support of the police. And I'm not saying the entire police institution is against journalists, but the facts, if you look at the facts, there's a surge in terms of attacks and also killings and all those kind of situations happen to journalists.
Wow. Okay. You know, how would you rate the coverage of the situation in Haiti by the U.S. press? I mean, do you think Americans are getting the proper context so that they understand what's going on? And what constraints are there that might, be a problem for some of this reporting?
Yeah, that's an important question. I'm very critical of the American press, the way they cover the situation in Haiti. Uh, I was watching a media recently. I think its name is Redacted. I think it's one of the media that actually media outlet that offered a really good assessment of the situation. Because what is happening in Haiti is like the population, they're against the intervention, either it's the US intervention or the Canadian intervention or the UN intervention. They don't want another military intervention in the country. So they are protesting against that. And the police, goes after them and try to actually force them to go back inside, to leave the street. So yeah, the people don't want another intervention, but I have a sense that in the press, in the American press, they don't really shed the light on that situation enough. I listen to NPR, I watch CNN, I listen to many news outlets, but I don't think they cover the situation enough, or they offer a real appreciation, a genuine appreciation of the situation on the ground. That's kind of like my take on that.
Okay. And you started going there a little bit. I just wanted this last question of what advice would you give to U.S. news organizations wanting to cover this issue and to U.S. reporters who might be going to Haiti to cover this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's to see I would say the human element, really, to empathize with the situation of the people on the ground, because we are facing one of the most difficult crises of our lifetime as a nation. Because a year ago we lost the president was assassinated, and even today we don't really know what happened to the president. And the government that is in place right now, it's illegitimate. It's not a legitimate government because he was supposed to stay for 3 months to organize elections, and it's been more than a year. He's still, in power, and he doesn't provide any real solution to the people, to the Haitian people. So I believe that the journalists in America should really see the human elements. Every life, counts. There are human beings who are dying, who are like dying either because of hunger, because of famine, because of the gangs who are killing people every day. Every day they are killing people on the streets. You wake up, from what I've heard from people, you will see a body, lying on a pile of trash. Everywhere in the capital, you would see that. So they have to really see the human elements. I think that's what is missing. I mean, forget about the political aspect of it, but the human elements, I think that's what they need to focus on at this point, because the Haitian people really don't know what to do at this point. Because when they try to go to protest on the street, they send the police, and sometimes the gang would go after them and shoot at people, and they don't have any other ways, like in terms of like I would say resources to survive, because the country has stopped. completely. Society has stopped. School doesn't function at this point. People can't even like, conduct a business every day. So it's like the country is not functioning. It's on the point of collapsing if it's not already collapsed.
Wow. Ah, it sounds like there's a lot there. You told me just before we went on that your association ha has issued a statement about the violence against journalists there. Could you just say a little bit about what the statement is? And then to people watching this, it will be posted on the international community's website as well.
Yeah, the statement, thank you for that. The statement is more like a communication to address the situation in Haiti right now, the violence and the surge, in terms of attacks against journalists, and also to kind of like to talk about the International Day to end impunity and crime against journalists. And it's kind of a reminder that those situations has happened have happened so many times in the country where journalists have lost their life and there's no justice. And we have a long list of journalists. We have Jean-Dominique, for example, the most famous Haitian journalist, Bruno Lendor, Vladimir Leganier, Tyson Latigue, Franzen Charles, Jean-Wesley Amadi, Antoinette Duclerc, Diego Charles, Hospide Pétion, Wilgens Louis-Saint, Tess Gary, who died recently, Robertson Vilsaint, who also died last week, Wilgens Louis-Saint, Tess Gary, and names after name. The list is like long. So we wanted to kind of like shed the light on this situation and ask the journalists, the international journalists who are covering the situation in Haiti to really focus on the human elements, to see how the people are vulnerable, how journalists are pretty much vulnerable, and how they can either get killed or get bitten by police or by gangs member. So it's really, really complicated. So we wanted to kind of like shed the light on the situation and also show our empathy and sympathy to the victim and to tell them that we are supporting them and we don't forget about them.
Right. Yeah, the issue of impunity is not unique to Haiti, and I would hope that all journalists around the world focus on this issue because it's one of the saddest affairs that I keep seeing. Violence against journalists is just being allowed in some places with no action being taken by the local authorities. Luke, I want to thank you very much for taking the time from your schedule, very busy schedule, to bring us up to date on the situation in Haiti. I hope we can continue to call on you for updates and to help keep this very important issue in front of the people who pay attention to international affairs. Keep Haiti in the headlines, but in the headlines in a proper and contextual way. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dan, for having me and for putting the light on Haiti and for keeping Haiti in the headline.